because I was out here hustling, building my business from scratch. And then when COVID hit, I'm like, I haven't traveled. I haven't done anything. I'm not out here dating. I'm not out here enjoying life. I'm trying to make this money, but what am I doing with it? Going to work and going home.
That's a clip from Dr. Jessica Howard's conversation with Sharon Burns on Sharon's Business Chat. The Business Chat is a show that Sharon hosts and that I produce, where every week Sharon sits down with a Black woman business owner to talk business, the realities of starting a business and running a business. There's a lot of chase your dreams nonsense, quit your job and chase your dreams nonsense on social media that it has a lot of people making a mistake starting a business and being completely unprepared for it. And this show is specifically for Black women because Black women start more businesses than any other demographic for a lot of reasons. Hostility in the workplace. Corporate America is really not set up for you to be successful. And every year, a new group of freshman girls goes to college, buys into the system, gets the degrees, goes into the workplace, and then, 15 years later, they're exiting the workforce because they've hit the Black woman's glass ceiling. Discrimination for a variety of forms, microaggressions in the workplace. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. What you may not know is that many of these women start businesses. This is where so many Black women come from, starting businesses, and you're not prepared. You have professional skills, but not business skills. And so you leave a bad situation and go to a worse situation because you no longer have a steady paycheck. And it's not as simple as just quitting your job with all your professional skills and then going out and having this fantastic life as an entrepreneur. And in this series, it's about education, teaching you what you need to know so that you can make that leap and be successful, because you can do it. The difference between struggle and failure and being successful is really just education, knowing what you're getting into and what you need to prepare for. And so that's why we host this series. And every week Sharon sits down and has a conversation with another woman, and it's just real talk about what it takes to run a business. So enough from me. Let's hear some more from Dr. Jessica.
So, you just have to, I've learned you got to make time. So when I first started, I was out here hustling, building my business. I didn't take time off. I was there past 9 to 5, Monday through Saturday.
Okay.
And then,
so 6 days you were.
Yeah. And anybody wanted an appointment, I was there, right? Okay. I didn't have boundaries.
You didn't want to say no.
Yeah, I needed that money, okay?
I understand.
I needed that money. But I would say that COVID was a blessing because I was out here hustling, building my business from scratch. And then when COVID hit, I'm like, I haven't traveled. I haven't done anything. I'm not out here dating. I'm not out here enjoying life. I'm trying to make this money, but what am I doing with it? Going to work and going home.
Right.
So I realized that I have to make time, set boundaries to, have a good work-life balance. So now I have that. I took my first vacation this year. I went to the DR.
Yes!
So,
good.
I say all that to say, you just got to learn to make time. Take vacation time, take time to get away. And when I did that, I was more refreshed. I was more energized. I was more focused in my business.
Right.
So you just got to make time.
When I first started, I would work like 21 days straight.
Oh, wow.
I might work 60 hours a week. It was, and when COVID hit, I said I couldn't do this anymore. So I used to travel and I used to work even in the midst of travel, international travel, if a client needed help. But now I'm really particular about my time. I do have a partner. I actually moved a little bit. I moved out of the area.
Okay.
And that has been wonderful. And just being able to give myself me time and being living and not in survival mode.
That's Marsha Evans, licensed professional counselor and owner of Willow Tree Counseling and Education Center. Marsha's on the farm now. She moved out of the city. She moved several hours away, and now she's literally on the farm. If you get on Zoom with Marsha, you see cows and stuff walking around in the background because she lives on the farm now. We're actually working together to build up she's a therapist. Marsha's a therapist, and we're redesigning her business to be able to run it from that farm. And that's the world we live in now. That's what you can do with the pandemic has, it changed the world and created a whole bunch of opportunities to do business a different way. And Marsha has chosen a healthier environment for herself. And it does not mean that she has to forfeit her business, because we pretty much everything she needs to do, she can do via Zoom. And that's the business that we're working together to build for her, so that she can have her cake and eat it too. She can be on the farm and still be able to help the people who she wants to help. So let's hear a little bit more from Marsha.
If someone wanted to start, their own business, what do you think is important? I mean, something that you didn't know starting off that you could share with, someone that is interested in wanting to do their own thing.
To be honest with you, I think it's the taxes. Like,
okay, that's consistent. That's been consistent.
Yeah, I just think that just being able to read up on it, like, what does that look like? Being aware
the numbers.
Yes.
Okay.
Being aware of that. What is that? I think a lot of people glamorize entrepreneurship, but when you get into the numbers of it, what are you really making? But also, what do you owe?
Okay.
And being able to have a financial advisor.
Okay.
Numbers, ladies. Being successful in business is about knowing your numbers. How much money are you going to have to make? How many clients are you going to have to see in order to produce that? How many widgets are you going to have to sell? Being successful in business has nothing to do with your passion. So all of that, I'm passionate and blah. That nonsense. You need to understand your numbers so that you can make money. You have to know, you have to have a target. I can't tell you how many times I've had women contact me, women aspiring to be business owners contact me, and well, how much money you want to make? I just want to be free. I just want that. You have to set a target. How much money do you want to make? How much money does this business need to generate? And then depending on the type of business, we're talking about it's always going to be a gross versus net situation. But if you're in a product-based business where you have costs associated with every transaction, then you really need to examine what are your costs and how much profit you're going to produce on every transaction. When you run a service-based business, it's quite a bit different, actually. You can, like if you're selling an online course, you can sell it. You put time and effort and money into creating that course, but then all of your sales, it's not costing you anything to make additional sales on it beyond that point. It's passive income. It's essentially pure profit. Whereas if you make something, or actually I got another video that's a perfect tool for this. A lady who makes candles contacted me, and she wanted to grow her candle making business without really having an understanding of what it was going to cost her. She didn't really have a revenue target in mind. She didn't really have a concept of gross versus net income. How much was it costing her for every transaction? And so in that video, I used a candle making business as an example of how to identify a revenue target and then work backwards to see what exactly is going to cost you to achieve that revenue target. But you have to know your numbers. Running a business is about knowing your numbers, and that's something that you just have to embrace because there's no way around it. And our next guest in this next clip, Angela Moody, is going to share some additional insights on that topic.
And one of the things that we didn't say that's equally as important, we talked about having a bookkeeper and also having some knowledge,
right,
of the finances. So it's really important.
Absolutely.
You don't have to know absolutely everything. You don't need to be able to close the books at the end of the month or any of that. But you do need to know what the numbers mean. When you look at them, you need to know whether or not you're making money or losing money.
Okay.
And you need to be able to identify what's impacting those numbers. So for people who are like, oh, I'm not numbers people, repeat after me. I love numbers and numbers love me because numbers are your friend. They are your friend.
It's important. It's
and
important.
They will it'll tell you just so many things.
Right,
It'll tell
right.
you whether or not you can do that expansion. It'll tell you whether or not you can hire that extra person or whether you need to add 4 more hours to your day.
Right. Okay, so speaking of 4 more hours to the day, so
I want you to rewind about 10, 15 seconds and watch that part again. When Angela mentioned adding 4 more hours to your day, Sharon got triggered. You can see it in her face because Sharon works extremely hard. She runs a catering business. As of the time of this recording, she's been doing it, running that business for 16 years. She left corporate America behind because of the things I talked about earlier in the video. And so she understands very well how something can happen, and now it just added hours to your day, multiple hours to your day, and you can see it in her expression. Like I said, she got triggered because that was just Angela speaking the truth. That's why we're producing this series, so that you get the insights that you need to be successful. I'm not saying don't quit your job and chase your dreams. What I'm saying is do it with some information. Don't just up and quit and then start learning all this stuff the hard way, because others have learned the hard way before you, and you can learn from them. You don't have to just walk out here and then try to figure everything out. I don't recommend that at all. That's why we bring you this business chat series every week. You can, in the link in the description box, I'll put links to where you can go and see the full episodes, because each of those episodes is like 45 minutes, an hour long. They're sitting down having a conversation and getting into the real talk about what it really takes to be successful running a business. That show is for you. So again, I'll put links in the description box to some different resources that will help you be successful in your entrepreneurial journey. And I'll see you in the next video.